When you think of the Akita Inu, the first thing that comes to mind might be Hachiko, the loyal Akita who patiently waited 9 years for his owner to return. And while they can be good family dogs, it's not all rainbows and sunshine with this breed. Now, we're not persuading you not to get one, but all potential owners need to know the downside of owning one. So here are the worst things about owning an Akita Inu. And make sure you watch till the end, because the last one will really surprise you. Number 1. They need lots of training and socializing from day one. If you think you can skip puppy school, think again. Owning an Akita Inu is not for the faint-hearted. They're notoriously stubborn and headstrong, which can be quite challenging for most owners, especially if you're inexperienced. After all, there's a reason why everyone says this isn't a breed for everyone. When you start training early on, you're essentially building a foundation of trust with your Akita, which is extremely important for this particular breed. By doing this, it's going to be a lot easier to handle your adult dog when he's much bigger and stronger. From day one, you need to expose them to various environments, people, and other animals, which will help them become well-rounded and less likely to be aggressive or fearful. Think of it as their social boot camp. If they don't get this exposure early, they might become the canine equivalent of a hermit, mistrusting everyone and everything in sight. But training an Akita isn't a one-time deal. It's actually a continuous process. They're incredibly intelligent, but also have a mind of their own, almost like living with a genius who's constantly questioning your authority. So if you're up for the challenge, start training and socializing your Akita the moment they step paw into your home. Number 2. Akitas can be aggressive. One of the major challenges of owning an Akita Inu is their potential for aggression. Now, these dogs have a strong guarding instinct, which can make them wary of strangers and other animals. Without proper socialization and training, this natural protectiveness can easily turn into aggression. They might see every new person or animal as a potential threat. Picture this: you invite friends over, and your Akita thinks it's an intruder alert. Not exactly the warm welcome you'd hope for. That said, training should focus on obedience and impulse control. You'll need to understand that genetically predisposed behaviors cannot be trained out. You never train away genetics. Instead, you manage them. So while you may raise an Akita that's naturally intolerant of other animals, you can manage those behaviors and train the dog in a way that they don't become reactive, aggressive, or dangerous. Remember, an Akita's aggression isn't their fault. It's just part of their nature. Now, with the right approach, you can channel that energy into protective loyalty rather than unwanted aggression. Number 3. Exercise is so crucial for these dogs. Now, this is where things can get a little confusing. Many Akitas are low to medium energy dogs, but that doesn't mean they don't require a lot of exercise each day. In fact, many owners make the mistake of viewing their mellow Akita as a dog that doesn't require physical activities, but this simply isn't true. As puppies, you'll need to take them out several times a day. Some owners even suggest taking them out every hour. However, it doesn't stop there. When they reach adulthood, you still have to bring them out 2 to 3 times a day to get their daily exercise in. It's a huge time commitment, and potential owners need to be aware of this before bringing one home. Without it, it's very likely that things can become disastrous quickly. So if you're thinking of owning an Akita, prepare to lace up your sneakers and hit the pavement. Number 4. Akitas aren't ideal if you have other dogs or pets. If you have other pets, bringing an Akita Inu into your home might not be the best idea. Akitas are hunting dogs that have a strong prey drive and dominant nature, which can make them less than friendly towards other smaller animals. Now, they're also known for being territorial and can become aggressive towards other dogs, especially those of the same sex. They might view smaller pets, like cats, guinea pigs, or rabbits, as prey. It's like inviting a lion into a herd of gazelles. Tensions are bound to arise. However, one owner suggests, "My Akita is dog, squirrel, rabbit, you name it, reactive. I've been working with a gentle leader head halter. I bump it when he reacts to distract him and get his attention. When he checks in, I reward him. Progress is slow, but I can see gradual improvement." Introducing an Akita to a household with existing pets requires careful planning and supervision. Early socialization and training are essential. But even with that, there's no guarantee they'll get along. You'll need to manage interactions closely to prevent any aggressive behavior. So if you already have pets and are considering an Akita, be prepared for potential conflicts. Number 5. They're not the best with small kids. If you have small children in the home or plan to very soon, getting an Akita Inu probably isn't a good idea. Sure, these dogs, known for their loyalty and protective nature, can make wonderful dogs for older kids. However, they'll be too intense for younger ones. The problem is that young kids won't understand the boundaries that these dogs absolutely need. A quick pull of the tail or an accidental stumble can trigger a warning bite from your Akita. But even a warning bite can be extremely dangerous for young kids. Additionally, Akitas aren't always tolerant of rough or unpredictable behavior that small kids often display. But if you're set on an Akita and have small kids, you'll need to be extra vigilant and careful. Number 6. They shed like crazy. If you're not a fan of fur everywhere, owning an Akita Inu might drive you a bit fur crazy. These dogs shed a lot, and I mean a lot. Imagine your home, constantly looking like you've just had a snowstorm, but instead of snow, it's Akita fur covering your floors, furniture, and clothes. Akitas have a thick double coat, which means they shed year-round, with 2 major blowouts during the year, typically in spring and fall. During these times, it feels like you could knit a whole new dog with the amount of fur they lose. You'll need a heavy-duty vacuum and a willingness to clean frequently. Regular brooming is a must to keep the shedding under control. But despite all the shedding, many Akita owners will tell you it's worth it. Their loyalty and unique personality can make up for their fur explosion. Though, if you're a neat freak or have allergies, the shedding might be a bit too much to handle. Number 7. They don't really show their emotions and feelings. One of the hardest parts about owning an Akita Inu is deciphering their emotions. For the most part, they don't really show how they feel. Whether a sad Akita, or a frustrated Akita, or a worried Akita, and even a happy Akita, they all look pretty much the same. Some dogs are easy to read with their tongues out, big smile, playful bow, and wagging tails, such as the Golden Retriever. But it's the complete opposite with this breed. These dogs have a stoic and reserved nature, making them seem like the strong, silent type in the canine world. Imagine trying to read a book with a blank cover. Figuring out what's going on inside can be a real challenge. Understanding an Akita requires paying close attention to subtle clues. Their body language, like slight changes in posture, or the position of their ears and tail, can give you hints about their mood. Think of it like learning a new language, where every small detail counts. Over time, you'll start to pick up on these little signs that indicate how they're feeling. But be prepared for a learning curve. It won't be easy without some effort. Number 8. Akitas won't be a people-pleasing dog. Now, if you're looking for a dog that lives to please you, go get a Labrador Retriever. Akitas are known for their independent and stubborn streaks, making them less eager to please than some other breeds. And while they're highly intelligent, they're also extremely strong-willed. They like to think for themselves and aren't always motivated by the desire to make their owners happy. In fact, one owner says, "Some say more cat-like, but that's not quite right. More standoffish, less inclined to recall, just less inclined to please the human." Training an Akita requires patience and consistency because it's very possible they'll question your commands. It's like trying to convince a teenager to do their chores. They need to see the point in it for themselves. Unlike more people-pleasing breeds, Akitas don't always show their affection through obedience. They bond deeply with their family, but on their own terms. This independent nature means they might not always come running when you call, or perform tricks just to earn your praise. To really train an Akita, you need to find what motivates them, whether it's treats, toys, or specific praise. Positive reinforcement works best, but be prepared for moments when they simply decide that they have better things to do. It'll be a test of your creativity and persistence. Number 9. The Akita Inu will be a one-person dog. Depending on what you're looking for, this can be either amazing or a nightmare. While Akitas can do well in families and grow to love them, most Akitas attach themselves to one person. Now, this intense loyalty can be heartwarming, but also challenging. Akitas will often prefer the company of their chosen person over anyone else, which can at times lead to jealousy or protective behavior. Think of them as having a best friend they're fiercely devoted to, while others are merely friendly acquaintances. Now, one owner says they bond hard with their owner, kinda like a ride-or-die thing. Because of this strong bond, Akitas tend to be aloof or indifferent towards strangers and even other family members. They're not the type of dog to enthusiastically greet everyone at the door with a wagging tail. Instead, they reserve their affection and attention for their favorite human, making them seem distant or detached at times. So if you can't commit your attention and time this way, it's better for the dog that you don't get one. And hey, if you enjoyed this, you'll probably love this video here. And if you hit subscribe, I'll donate a meal to a rescue dog on your behalf.